Finally tonight, a battle of the books about Israel's supporters in the United States. Margaret Warner has our story.
A year ago, two American political scientists raised a storm with an article asserting that Israel and its supporters in the United States have far too much influence over American policy. The fight is still going on, now in the pages of two books. The Israel Lobby and U.S. Foreign Policy is the work of John Mearsheimer, a professor at the University of Chicago, and Stephen Walt, a professor at Harvard. They argue that Israel enjoys an extraordinary level of U.S. support that is now proving a, quote, strategic liability, close quote, to U.S. interests in the world. And this outsized support, they say, is, quote, due largely to the political power of the Israel Lobby, led by groups like the American Israel Political Action Committee, or AIPAC. The Deadliest Lies is the title of a rebuttal book by Abraham Foxman, director of the Anti-Defamation League. He calls the Mearsheimer-Walt book explosive and inflammatory and says it is based on, quote, half-truths, distortions, and falsehoods. We bring the two together now, Professor Mearsheimer joining me here and Mr. Foxman in New York. And welcome to you both. John Mearsheimer, first, before we really get into this, define your term. What do you mean by Israel Lobby?
The Israel Lobby, Margaret, is a loose coalition of individuals and groups who worked actively to push American foreign policy in a pro-Israel direction. It's an American interest group along the lines of the National Rifle Association or the American Association for Retired People.
So what's your evidence that it is distorting American foreign policy in a way that is jeopardizing U.S. security, and that it has the degree of influence that it can do so?
Well, probably the best example would be U.S. policy on the settlements in the occupied territories. Every American president since Lyndon Johnson in 1967 has opposed, at least officially opposed, the building of settlements in the West Bank and the Gaza Strip. Nevertheless, no American president has been able to put any serious pressure on the Israelis to stop that settlement building, even though there's lots of evidence that that has been one of the principal reasons that the United States is deeply disliked around the world, and it is one of the causes, not the only cause, but one of the causes of our terrorism problem. And the reason, of course, that no president can put any meaningful pressure on the Israelis is because of the Israel Lobby.
So, Mr. Foxman, what is the deadly lie, to use your phrase, that you believe these authors are promoting here?
The deadly lie is the concept that Jews, wherever they are, disproportionately control government, means of media in order to promote their interests. Mearsheimer and Walt in their book basically say that the lobby, which is, I guess, all those American Jews and some Zionist Christians who support Israel, distort what is America's interest, distort what is in the best interest of the United States in order to serve the interests of Israel and support of Israel. And they go as far as saying that in their magazine article, originally they said that it was because of the Israel Lobby that America went to war in Iraq. They've sort of adjusted it in their book, and they say if not for the Israel Lobby, America would not be at war. And basically saying the American Jews so control the American government, the administration and Congress and media, that it brought about America's entry into the Iraq War, which is against the interests of the United States.
Let me